Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans cette nouvelle vidéo de Let's Play sur Vampyr ou Vampyr. Évidemment le jeu AA du studio Dontnod, où on joue un médecin transformé en vampire qui cherche des réponses. C'est classique mais ça fonctionne. Et on est reparti pour suivre les aventures de notre cher Jonathan Reed. Alias le joueur pas le joueur du grenier bien entendu, le fossoyeur de film, parce que de profil il a exactement la même tête, c'est assez perturbant. Oula, ne peut pas être ouvert de ce côté, ça veut dire qu'on peut l'ouvrir de l'autre côté.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Il y a un inconnu avec une tête de professeur, c'est un peu bizarre. Il faut user une arme à deux mains. La faux permet de parer une attaque tout en infligeant des dégâts d'étourdissement accrus si vous l'utilisez au bon moment. Très bien. Écoutez, on va tenter. Comment est-ce qu'on l'équipe ? D'accord, donc par exemple, elle, on peut pas l'améliorer au-delà du niveau 2. Pareil, mais après on peut débloquer des capacités spéciales pour. Alors que celle-là, par exemple, on peut vraiment avoir des... D'accord, très bien. Alors comment est-ce qu'on équipe une arme de...
This place reeks of bloodshed.
Que je peux pas utiliser mes sens.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
William Bishop. Ironiquement, les combats de boss sont plus intéressants. Moins brouillons en fait. Nous on va jouer le gentil vampire.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Lui il a clippé.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Oh. Et oui, évidemment, elle est comme lui. Elle le cache même pas. Évidemment, s'il y a des soucis avec le son, notamment hein, sur le son des voix des cinématiques, dites-le moi.
Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat.
C'est littéralement un Deus Ex Machina en fait. Moi je sais pas si c'est un dieu, mais en tout cas ils sont des machines.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Donc là, il faut le
This
manger.
poor creature can't
No.
be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
C'est quoi ce truc sur le... Pas de carte. Si, ici. Le refuge. D'accord, en fait j'avais placé un marqueur sans le vouloir. Bon, le jeu est assez dirigiste, mais c'est pas gênant en fait. Des jeux trop libres coupent souvent une narration intéressante en fait. Prenez les Elder Scrolls, les narrations ne sont jamais aussi intéressantes que lorsque on vous demande de faire tel truc bien précis, etc. Notamment au travers des guildes. Parce que justement le jeu vous laisse extrêmement libre. Dans The Witcher, c'est pareil, vous avez une quête principale qui est très très précise, mais au final, ça casse un peu l'immersion dans l'histoire que de pouvoir aller faire le con à jouer au Gwent.
Just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... Who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
And I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembrok Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembrok Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Bon, ce mec est bizarre,
Have we
mais
met?
il y a
I
d'ailleurs eu
attended
des
3
fautes
of your
dans
seminars
ce
before
titre.
the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Étole. Je supposerais...
Well. Then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembrok Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this... affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Il est un peu bizarre, mais pourquoi pas. Par contre, c'est vrai que vous remarquerez, c'est vraiment une tendance. Hein. Les personnages masculins ont toujours une voix super grave. Alors, je peux pas faire la voix super grave parce que c'est pas du tout mon type de voix. Mais ils ont toujours une voix ultra grave. Sur les personnages comme Kratos dans le dernier God of War, ça peut se justifier. Mais si vous prenez le personnage principal de Watch Dogs par exemple, et bah là pareil dans Vampyr, ils ont pas de raison d'avoir une très très grosse voix.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea,
Welcome
immediately.
aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Il est quand même un peu bizarre. Bon, alors. Ok, la tenue est. Bah oui, pourquoi pas. C'est du quartier,
It's locked, all right.
Très bien.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
La qualité du sang indique la quantité d'expérience que vous pourrez tirer d'un citoyen. Plus la qualité du sang est bonne, plus la quantité d'expérience reçue est importante. Afin de boire le sang d'une proie, vous devez d'abord la charmer pour l'attirer vers un lieu à l'abri des regards. Votre niveau de charme doit être supérieur ou égal à la résistance de ce citoyen. Puis sur A pour charmer Clay. Est-ce que tu vois ma main?
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Oui. Vous entendez l'espèce de cœur maléfique derrière, alors qu'en fait vous pouvez juste jouer au con comme ça en mode hey. Si j'avance et que tu recules, comment veux-tu que... Bref, on va arrêter de faire le con. On va l'emmener vers les ténèbres. Et ensuite lui faire un gros câlin. Étreindre Clay vous fera gagner énormément d'expérience, mais cela aura des conséquences sur la suite de l'aventure. En apprendre plus sur les citoyens et récupérer leurs indices pour augmenter la quantité d'expérience que vous obtenez. Le jeu nous a dit dans le premier chargement que plus on bouffait des gens et plus le jeu serait facile, quoi. Bon, c'est un gros con, personne ne le regrettera, etc. Allez. Allez, manger. C'est rigolo, c'est qu'on fait ça tout le long des combats. On mange les gens comme ça. Ils se posent pas de questions.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fart me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
It's locked.
Alors, j'ai récupéré sa hache. Celle-ci achète en bonne qualité, solide, souvent utilisée à bord des bateaux en cas de soucis. Celle-ci appartenait à Clay Cox, a été modifiée pour en faire une arme plus efficace. D'accord, on peut vraiment l'améliorer de manière... D'accord. Et comment est-ce qu'on équipe les armes? Parce que c'est chiant. C'est chiant, j'aimerais pouvoir tester les faux, etc. Attendez, on va voir configuration de touche. Hein. Changer d'arme de corps à corps W, changer d'arme à distance C. Et ben, j'appuie sur W, ça fait que dalle. D'ailleurs, j'avais mis l'HUD parce que normalement il n'y était pas. Mais d'accord, on peut en fait avoir le jeu en mode plus cinématique. Vous voyez, c'est pour l'immersion, tout ça.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed,
Et
the
vous,
new
vous êtes trop
surgeon here
précieux.
at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
On appuie sur plus de détails sur... Ok, il faut 5. Alors j'ai 1, elle a 5, donc on ne pourra pas la charmer. Bilan de santé.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
Ok, en bonne santé. Votre vie à Londres. Quelle situation ici?
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
Un ennemi invisible.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Cet hôpital peut-il survivre à
Do you think this
l'épidémie?
hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Très bien. Toujours pas... Ok. D'accord, il faut avoir des indices.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane.
Ils ont eu le temps de graver le nom.
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembrok Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
C'est un vampire.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, nurse.
Très bien. Hop. L'autre il est parti. D'accord.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something
C'est
for
donc
you.
notre armurier. Quelle situation les environs que...
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
On va pas faire tous les dialogues, etc.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what
everyone needs. Ok, donc on peut acheter des trucs. C'est cher, mais bon, c'est pas grave. Des balles, bien évidemment. Le fusil de Milton, il est très cher, mais il a l'air d'être pas dégueulasse. Très bien. C'est intéressant parce que ça veut dire qu'on peut buter littéralement tous les PNJ, quoi. Au bout d'un moment. Parce que, bon, voilà. Mais ça veut dire qu'on peut buter tous les PNJ et qu'il y a un choix là-dessus qui c'est intéressant.
Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
D'accord, donc lui il va être plus facile à manger au besoin. En bonne santé.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
You're exhausting.
No.
Nurse Brannigan, you don't...
Ok, donc c'est... D'accord, donc c'était un choix.
Goodbye, Doctor.
J'ai l'impression qu'on va pouvoir passer des heures à apprendre les secrets de chaque personne qui passe. Ça va être violent. Après, si ça rajoute de la durée au jeu, pas de manière artificielle, quoi, que c'est vraiment une certaine importance. Après, je pense qu'on peut faire des parties où on est le bon docteur, justement, les parties où on est le vampire absolu, etc. Et des parties un petit peu plus mixées. Non, c'est Brannigan. C'est bien au moins on sait qui sont les PNJ.
Right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Ouais, ça m'a l'air d'être un mélange entre le manoir du premier Resident Evil et l'hôpital dans le premier The Evil Within. Donc, pas sûr que ce soit vraiment le meilleur des deux. Alors, il y a un Toubib. Waouh, mais il y a tellement de gens en fait. Et en fait, il y a tellement de personnes à voir.
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea.
Thank you. And you are...
I am Thoreau Strickland. Dr. Thoreau
Qu'est-ce
Strickland.
Strickland, t'as pas lu
I'm a great admirer of your work, Doctor. Please, could you... I'm a great admirer of your work concerning...
What made you choose...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your...
It's always a pleasure to share scientific...
This epidemic may be this...
I'd
rather not talk about it for now.
As long as you're cautious and methodical.
You're not the first one to warn me.
Bref, des fois c'est...
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor.
Do you need help?
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the errand?
Oh no, Dr. Reed.
But I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
Voilà, donc là on peut en profiter d'ailleurs pour se dire que, donc 4, etc. On peut en profiter pour se dire que c'est quand même un gars qui... Enfin, c'est quand même un problème qu'on a de nos jours.
Goodbye,
Hein.
Dr. Strickland.
Dans nos hôpitaux bien français de chez nous, où les gens n'ont absolument plus le temps de s'occuper de qui que ce soit. Ça devient très galère et les administrations n'en ont plus rien à foutre.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Mais je veux pas te reparler, Non, je veux pas te parler à toi.
Goodbye, Doc.
Je vais parler à l'infirmière, mais... excusez-moi, machine.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Ah, mais c'est
Thank
Dorothy encore. Non, mais c'est bon, je te connais. Barre-toi.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Bitch, toi tu vas tellement te faire bouffer.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Non, ouais, c'est ça, vous ferez bien de me parler sur un autre ton.
You are going to change your tone with me, my dear colleague, and very quickly.
I don't think so. Perhaps you think yourself protected by Dr. Swansea, but I am still a free...
Bah écoute, tu me parles comme tu veux, mais tu vas finir avec un coup de couteau dans le dos, quoi, c'est tout.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
Ouais, mais d'une certaine manière, si on teste rien, on n'avance pas. Donc... Certes, c'est chiant pour tout le monde, mais... Évidemment, on n'a pas trop le choix, quoi. Alors d'abord, on va faire du stuff. Voilà.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
C'est beaucoup de blabla, je suis désolé. Hein.
They both want the best for me.
C'est important.
There's a lot of pride there.
Je pense.
Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Ah, effectivement. Enfin, après, c'est un peu le problème des Allemands, quoi. C'est une victime de guerre, c'est pas...
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Mhm.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
On va quand même essayer de lui parler.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm.
I was more curious about...
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too.
Are you sat...
Well,
I won't lie to you about...
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And you're...
In other circumstances, you...
Alors lui... Ah oui, on pourrait déjà aller le bouffer, en fait. Mais il donne pas beaucoup d'XP, ce qui est normal.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
Vous savez quoi, je vais pas spécialement faire une partie Rampage ou une partie Bon Docteur, mais je vais quand même essayer de manger pas mal de gens pour voir ce que ça donne en fait. J'ai vraiment envie de tester les capacités.
Good evening, madam.
It's my son who needs...
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed?
Il a un souci avec ses cheveux quand même.
What can you tell me about yourself?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
J'aime bien cette madame. Elle a l'air un peu casse-couille, mais elle a un bon métier.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembrok Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Après, tu peux pas la virer parce qu'ils ont déjà besoin de monde. 4 donc. Ok, donc on n'a pas encore assez d'indices sur elle.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
On va parler à son fils avec un peu de chance. J'ai l'impression qu'en fait, il a genre rien.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk.
I suppose that this pain...
Yes.
Could you at least...
Mortimer.
Allez, mon gars, parle. D'accord, traitement pour la fatigue. Pas très compliqué à charmer.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembrok Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor.
On sait pas de quoi on est incapable. Bon.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Ouais, donc lui il a été mordu.
How painful.
So painful
I'll let you get some...
This hospital seems to go.
Ouais, ça fait beaucoup de dialogue quand même, hein. C'est assez compliqué. Mais ça reste intéressant, on est plongé dans le truc, etc. En tout cas, moi je le suis. Je sais pas si c'est censé être un miroir, mais bon. En tout cas, moi je le suis et c'est... Voilà, moi j'aime bien ce jeu, je sais pas ce que vous en pensez. D'ailleurs, faites-le moi savoir hein, ce que vous pensez de ce que vous voyez de ce jeu. Moi je le trouve plutôt cool. Alors il y a plein de trucs qui m'énervent, mais comme je disais, c'est un double A, c'est pas un triple A, donc on n'exige pas... J'ai pas le même niveau d'exigence. Après, est-ce que c'est moi? Non. Effectivement, si on compare à hôpital complet, hôpital ne peut plus accepter de nouveaux patients à cause de l'épidémie de grippe, hôpital complet, veuillez rentrer chez vous. C'est pas cool. Alors il y a un jeu, je vais peut-être me faire frapper, je vais me faire taper sur les doigts pour avoir dit ça, mais un jeu par exemple que je considère comme un double A, c'est Nier Automata, qui est sorti en 2017. Et clairement, c'est un double A qui a la qualité d'un triple A. Parce que le jeu est sans faille. Alors, sans faille, ici il y a quelques petits défauts quand même. On peut pas avoir des jeux parfaits, ce serait bien, mais on peut pas. Mais pour moi, Nier Automata, déjà c'est mon GOTY 2017, hein, c'est celui qui m'a vraiment le plus marqué et dans le bon sens. Et mais ça donne... mais voilà, ça fait que même si c'est un double A, donc c'est une bonne sortie, mais c'est pas une ultra grosse sortie non plus. Eh bien, on a quand même des... au nom de votre miséricorde, il compte sur vous. On recherche des infirmières. Visitez le bureau d'emploi du ministère du Travail et de la Politique Sociale le plus proche ou écrivez à l'adresse 15 Kingsway, Londres. Ok. Alors que là, par exemple, je pense que ce sera pas mon GOTY de l'année. Il y a de grandes chances que ce soit Monster Hunter. Mais voilà, il est plutôt sympa. Après, j'ai l'impression que... Ils vont s'embrouiller un petit peu avec leur système de craft, ça va être compliqué pour pas grand chose. Moi qui aime pas beaucoup le craft, c'est sympa quand il y en a un peu, mais trop, ça devient vite très lourd. Donc voilà. Bref, on va continuer de parler, désolé, hein, c'est vraiment l'épisode du blabla. Mais on en a besoin.
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Très bien, elle a craqué. C'est peut-être vrai, hein, mais elle a craqué.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Et le syndrome de Cotard. Alors, je sais ce que c'est, mais quand est-ce qu'il a été trouvé d'ailleurs? Parce que... On va lui laisser parler en attendant. On va la laisser
Describe to
parler.
me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Non, 1880, 1880, c'est-à-dire 20 ans plus tôt, à peu près. Donc, c'est legit.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Ouais, elle a des soucis quand même. Mais ouais, il y a des chances que ce soit le syndrome de Cotard. Donc, comme il l'expliquait, les gens, ceux qui sont atteints par ce syndrome sont persuadés d'être morts.
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Ouais, c'est vraiment, je pense que ça doit être vraiment le syndrome de Cotard. Et c'est assez intéressant en fait qu'ils aient intégré ça dans le truc parce que c'est un syndrome qui est relativement rare, encore heureux, mais c'est possible que la guerre, la maladie et en l'occurrence les vampires à côté, etc. Soit une raison que pour qu'une personne ait développé ce syndrome, quoi. Donc c'est pas forcément une coïncidence genre oh mon dieu il fallait absolument qu'il y ait ça, mais je trouve ça intéressant. Voilà, c'est bien joué jeu, c'est surprenant mais c'est intéressant.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Et je sens que va falloir parler.
Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
C'est bien parce qu'il joue vraiment le jeu, quoi. Même si je suis pas sûr que ce soit vraiment ce qu'il faille faire. Je vais essayer d'accélérer un petit peu parce qu'on est toujours. On n'aime pas aller au premier étage, quoi.
German shell to...
Ok.
How is your step?
Oh, it's bliss.
Can I ask you precisely?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Ok.
Where were you stationed, sir?
I really don't want to...
No offense.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Ah normalement, à moins d'être chez Tardy, les officiers supérieurs mènent la charge pendant la Première Guerre mondiale, donc pas de raison.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. a normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Il a pas tort.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Donc, ok. Lui pour le charmer, on pourrait déjà aller le manger.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Mais on va pas le faire tout de suite. Sean Hampton. Quoi?
Good evening, Mr.
Ah oui,
Hampton.
oui, Hampton. Oui.
How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, Sora, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Eh ben, il l'a trouvé.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Très bien.
What is the general situation?
The situation has always been tough.
Gang.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show. With the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Comment tu sais qu'il a déjà disparu? Je l'ai bouffé il y a une demi-heure.
Has the gang been through?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know. The sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and help.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton?
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the...
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you...
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Ham.
Rien de bien intéressant. Écoutez, ça fait 55 minutes, l'autre partie était un poil plus longue. L'autre vidéo était un poil plus longue, donc on va quand même garder... éviter la maladie, cracher, tousser ou éternuer sans faire attention propage la grippe. Ces microbes sont expulsés par le nez et la gorge, ne toussez pas en public. Oui, vous mettez un mouchoir devant votre pif, quoi.
It's locked.
Oh, mais dites pas qu'il y a du crochetage, ça va me faire chier. Comment ça, mec? Il y a un tweet que je connais pas.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead.
Do you work here?
Yes, very easy work.
Why do you?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing.
Why close the hospital?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass.
Are you afraid?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Ok, d'accord.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Intéressant.
How did you get this?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many...
Blablabla, ouais.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Oui, tout à fait. Il est en bonne santé. Les interprétations.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you?
I'm very cautious, sir.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade. I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death?
C'est pas Jonathan.
I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe?
As I said, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes. But the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to...
No, I am not. I don't fear death.
You're a wise man.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man.
C'est intéressant. Et qu'est-ce que t'as à vendre?
Of course. It's...
De la codéine, de l'opium et une formule énigmatique. Ouais, je vais pas te balancer tout mon argent dedans non plus. Je vais pas rendre la hachette de clé. On sait jamais si elle peut servir.
I cannot enter. It's locked, all right.
C'est verrouillé. D'accord, bon écoutez, je pense qu'on va s'arrêter là. Voilà, c'était l'épisode du blabla. J'espère que ça vous a plu, j'espère que vous vous en voudrez encore, j'espère que vous voudrez continuer avec moi cette aventure sur Vampyr, je sais pas trop. Voilà, donc les deux sont très bien. Voilà. Comme d'habitude, n'hésitez pas à vous abonner à la chaîne, liker, commenter, partager tout ça. Toujours le lien du Discord et du Twitch dans la description. Et puis voilà, d'ici là, portez-vous bien, jouez beaucoup, et moi je vous dis à la prochaine.